Hello everybody, this is now part 2 for the Sekiro walkthrough. With this part, we will be going from the beginning of the memory that you'll be going into to the mini-boss Juzo the Drunkard. A lot of people have issues with him, and so different things we'll be going over today with this is using shinobi tools properly, fight mini-boss / boss tactics, for instance, vitality versus posture focus, because most bosses have really good posture, but if you bring their vitality down, that posture quickly becomes breakable. Or in some cases, some bosses or many bosses just don't have very good posture to begin with, and so you'd focus on breaking that down. Couple items that we'll be getting with this walkthrough today as well will be the flame vent, the loaded axe, Mist Raven, a couple of esoteric techs, and a prayer bead that's just hiding behind the wall. The skills you'll want to learn will be the chasing slice and Makiri counter. You should have one skill point by now, and with that we'll start with this. So we'll rest at the sculpture's idol, go down to acquire skills. As you can see right here, you can learn the Makiri counter, but that's when you have 2 skill points, and so that's just how you get there. After we go through a little bit of the memory, we will be coming back here to talk to the sculptor to fit some of those shinobi tools. But to get into the memory, you'll go to that Buddha and click square to pray. I'm going to skip it so you can experience it for yourself. Which, as a side note for you, memories in this game can apply to modern day because it's somehow, I don't know the full reasoning for it, but it lets you experience new things as well as having it happen at the same time. It's pretty crazy. If you know more about Japanese mythology than I do, it would probably make more sense to you, but it's still really cool. So you're going to rest at that sculpture's idol, come over here, and one of my friends described this game as Ninja Spider-Man, and it's entirely true. So don't be afraid of cliffs like this, because then you'll just be able to grapple hook. More often than not, there will be a point where you can grapple, so be not afraid of cliffs. He'll tell you what year it is. Sekiro will be a little confused, just like, wait, that's in the past. That's the first enemy we'll be killing here. These guys give you a bit more experience points than the ones that we had previously fought, and they're actually easier. The problem is that there are a lot of them. So we'll be coming over this way. What he just did is he kicked some dirt in my face. Don't ask me how he managed to do that, because we're on the bridge. And once again, don't fight people multiple at once. Dip in, dip out if you have multiple people fighting you. Up next are a few wolves. For wolves, they're actually not too bad if you deflect really well against them. And so, for those, just be watchful of when they're coming for you. That was a thrust attack. Obviously, try to avoid that. I dodged behind him, but that's because I'm used to the Makiri counter. We'll go over that soon enough. So now you come over this way. The reason for us going over this way is a couple of items, and also another shopkeep. Oh. Oh, see, I didn't deflect. so I should have dodged. Obviously, even some veterans can make mistakes. Which, by the way, I am by no means a pro. I'm just trying to make other people's lives easier. So this is now introducing another element of resurrection. The only time the world is affected negatively is if you 100% die. And so with this, you can use that to your advantage by waiting to resurrect for these people to turn around like he just did. So then you can get yourself a free death blow. And that's fun too. When you are knocked down, be sure to recognize when you're kind of staggering, because you can still take damage when you are in that state. And so be extremely careful and be ready to click O or X. This guy's another merchant. See that fish over there? That's a treasure carp. This guy sells you stuff from treasure carp scales. And so whenever you're in the water, you'll see those treasure carp, and from them, be wary with them, however, because there are some man-eating fish that like to accompany treasure carp, apparently. So you can purchase items. Divine grass is a very useful thing. This weathered red gourd is very helpful in closer to end game stuff. And then this is for multiple playthroughs. And this last one is a technique, which I actually really like it, but we probably won't be using that in this walkthrough. So you can mess around with it if you want, but we won't be messing with it here. So now that we've talked to him, we'll come over this way. And we'll now be going up here. You'll have to wall jump that one. To this sculpture's idol. We will rest because we always want at least one node of resurrection, which you get automatically for resting at the sculpture's idol. That also restores our healing gourd uses. And as I said, when you're in the outside world, you want to take out the ranged enemies first. So instead of going down that path, you'll actually come up here. Stay on the left side of the building, otherwise those guys can see you. And right down here is the guy we're gonna kill first. The next guy we'll be killing is him. For these guys, you can spam R1, but again, be careful. To make sure that they don't get in a sneaky counterattack against you. So then, after you take out those guys, which you also don't really have to fight them, you can just go right over there and right in here. For these enemies, again, you want to take out the ranged people first, and he is your first archer, so we're going to go for him. We're then going to take out this guy. When you are in the death blow animation, you are invincible, by the way, so use that to your advantage when you can. This guy, he's a bit bulkier, and so you can't spam R1 against him. I just did, but normally you can't, so be careful, get ready to block. In this building, there's one more guy. For some reason, he's poking at the corner. I'll grab that item, and we will then be moving forward. You'll also notice that I'm getting a lot of send from these guys. I will show you a farming method in this little area shortly, but not right now. So right over here is your next area with a lot of people in there. We are going to actually go this way. that will hurt us. But once again, wolves are easy if you've got good timing with your deflect, or if for some reason they don't notice you. This guy's drunk, so we're just going to get a big kill on him. And then we want to take out archers first. So we'll jump across the building to take him out. He's still sleeping, so we're going to take him out before he wakes up. And we don't want to fight multiple people, so we're actually going to run away for a bit. It's not worth it to try and prove yourself. Sekiro is a game of patience, and you're totally fine to not have to worry about proving yourself to anyone, because you're not playing in front of the whole world like I am. So, again, just mostly focus on fighting them one at a time, and don't let them corner you like I almost just did. As I said, I'm not a pro. I'm just trying to make your lives easier. So, my plan worked. They got separated. And thus you can take them out one at a time. Obviously, if you run away, you can also go back into a sneak attack. And thus, you can save yourself a bit more time that way as well, just by sneak attacking them. That item right there that I just picked up, very important. That is your next shinobi tool, the flame vent. That's one of my favorites, to be perfectly honest with you. So we'll be using that a lot in these walkthroughs, just because I feel like it makes life a lot easier for a lot of enemies. Juzo the Drunkard being one of them. So next up is the loaded axe tool that we'll be getting. For that, you'll climb up that way. We want to take out the bulkier guy, and so if you want to, go ahead and eavesdrop, but I don't feel a need, so we're going to run. Oh, that didn't work. But I was still able to get the sneak attack on him, so we take those here. If it works, you know? It doesn't matter if you win by the skin of your teeth, if you just win. Okay, that did not work at all. He's dead now. Next up. Take him out. And then, in this temple right here, I'll show you how to get there again, just in case I kind of just glanced over it. You come up from this angle, you talk to that guy, and he lets you know there's a tool that he wants you to use. We come over this way into that temple right here. Open that door up, and get yourself the Shinobi Axe of the Monkey. This is the point that we will be going and going back to the Sculptor's Idol. However, to get yourself a few more Sen and a couple more skill points, we're going to take out these guys first. So we'll take him out first, because he's bulkier. Basically, general rule of thumb is you want to take out the archers first. You don't have to take out any archers. You want to go for the bulkier guys. These guys right here are the reason we're going back. They have shields. Annoying to fight without the loaded axe. So we're just going to ignore them, and we're going to come over this way. You'll get yourself an item, and a shortcut. It's You can sneak attack those shield guys, by the way. It's just difficult, so we're not going to worry about that. Back to the Sculptor's Idol. Dilapidated Temple. Oh, also another mini-boss that I forgot to mention that we'll be taking care of is the Shinobi Hunter. And this is also the reason why we'll need the Makiri counter. The Makiri counter pretty much trivializes any thrust attacks people throw at you. Practice with it. There are some awkward timings that you'll be getting, but it'll be easy enough for you to catch on with it. So practice with it. It's amazing.
There is one, the great what you that I'm not that.
Which, in my opinion, it is actually the singular most important skill in the game is the Makiri counter. So, okay, there we go. We now have the loaded axe and the flame vent.
The Shinobi appears you've taken to here.
And he also gives us the prosthetic esoteric text.
What is it? It can bite, you know.
Basically, skills that involve your
if you want more
prosthetic arm.
Just is no the least I can.
So, in order to cycle through, he'll be using triangle. So then he can choose between the Shinobi Firecracker or the Shuriken. We'll now go here to acquire the skills that I told you that you will be acquiring. The first one, Makiri counter, the most important skill in the game. And then you'll also want the chasing slice. The next skill we'll be getting is the grappling hook attack, but chasing slice comes first. You'll then travel to the Hirata estate and the estate path. For very early game, this is also the tactic that you'll be using to farm skill points if you feel that's necessary, and also send and also other required materials. And so what you'll do is, once again, you'll come over this way first, and then right before you kill this ranged person, you'll come to your inventory and you'll pop the Mibu Possession Balloon. With that, it increases the chances of you obtaining items from killing enemies. And so you'll pop that. I'm not going to because I don't feel a need to. I'm just teaching you how to farm. And then you'll kill this guy. Take him out. Kill that guy. That was really difficult. I don't know why that was so hard. But, yeah, you'll take him out. The possession balloon only lasts so long, and so that's when you'll come up this way. Take out the bulkier guy first. And you'll actually not do what I just did. You won't be acquiring all that loot right away. So don't do this if you are farming. So, you know what, actually, I'm going to tell you how to farm in a bit, because we're actually going to take care of a mini-boss first. And also these shield guys. Anytime people have shields, the loaded axe is your tool to use against them. The loaded axe is basically, it breaks any shield, and it also destroys posture. And so if you've got an enemy that doesn't have a lot of posture, you can use this to just destroy them. And then also, something to note is when you do break a shield, you'll also break their posture. So R2 to use them. break the shield, death blow. Once again, R2 is how you use the shinobi tool. So you'll wait for prime opportunity. R2 breaks it, which also breaks their posture. It's very nice. So, next up is the Shinobi Hunter. When you are fighting mini-bosses that have enemies nearby them, you always want to take out the enemies first. You don't want to fight the mini-boss while also having to deal with his cronies around. And so, to deal with that, you'll actually take this guy out first. That archer will notice you. The Shinobi Hunter saw me. So actually, we're going to dip out. Because remember, there is absolutely no shame in running away. We'll wait for his health bar to go away, which that's how you know you got away from mini bosses, is if their health bar goes away. And just quick side note for you, you can't get a sneaky death blow, run away, and then come back to get another sneaky death blow and kill them off. They will get their death blow back that you originally got. So once you're in that combat, you have to be stuck there. They avoided that big of a cheese. So I'll actually come over this way, duck under. That way we can use these flowers for stealth. And there's your archer. Take him out. If the Shinobi Hunter sees you, run away. But that's just one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is to just kind of keep running, because no enemy is as fast as you are, and so you can actually just run around pretty much everything. So if you're coming around this way, take him out. So then, once again, you'll just kind of focus on running as you take them out like one at a time. So that's another method that you can do to avoid the mini-boss and regular enemy troubles. Alright, so at this point I would advise you to run away so you get the free death blow, but to show you more of the fight, I am going to try and take him on mano-a-mano just from here. The main thing he'll be doing is thrust attacks, which is why we want to practice the Mikiri counter. When you do the Mikiri counter, you'll have a lot of options directly afterward. This is one of the weird timing ones. But anyway, we're going to back up a bit. When you see that, 9 times out of 10, he'll be doing a thrust attack. And so, be ready to Mikiri counter. And the way you do that is you dash forward with O and clicking the joystick upward at the same time, just like so. So that's how you use the Mikiri counter. And anytime that perilous attack comes up, that's when you'll have that chance to use it. As long as you're doing a thrust attack, I should say. That was a sweep attack. I should have jumped there. So be wary of that. So you attack, jump kick, attack on your way down. Mikiri counter. Just like that, he's gone. And that is why the Mikiri counter is so important. That guy is so much more difficult if you do not have the Mikiri counter, or if you have not practiced with it yet. So, practice with the Mikiri counter, get ready for his thrust attacks, and be watchful for his sweep attack. And that's how you fight the Shinobi Hunter. So then we'll come over this way. You'll also notice the Shinobi Hunter had very weak posture. And so if you have a good opportunity to use the loaded axe, use the loaded axe. It'll break his posture pretty quickly. And so just be watchful. Once again, focus on the Makiri counter, and then watch out for his sweep attacks. Be ready to guard when he attacks, so then you deflect him, building up his posture even more. So this next little run will actually be headed over to grab the Mist Raven, which is another Shinobi tool. You'll use that to come over this way, and then you'll hop into the water. There's also another treasure carp over this way, and so if you want to purchase those things from that treasure carp vendor, that would be your time to do it. Which I will be going ahead and killing the carp. And the carp, when it sees you, will run away, and it is extremely fast, and if it's away from you for too long, it'll just disappear. Don't worry, it will come back. So you won't lose a treasure carp scale because you weren't sneaking back. Anyway, from the water, you'll come up onto that branch, come over this way, and to your right you'll see a cave with some dried bamboo growing over it. You can just dash through the bamboo, or you can cut it, doesn't matter. You'll come over this way, and you'll jump on one wall, and you'll actually be able to jump all the way up. And then this next enemy is one of the hardest regular enemies in the game. I'd rank him as number 2 hardest to deal with as a regular enemy. However, this also isn't a Shinobi tool that I'll be using, and so if you don't feel the need to get it, don't get it. It's a nice Shinobi tool, I just personally don't use it. And so you've got 2 options: either 1, we're gonna fight him, or 2, you can actually just run, open the door, which when you're opening doors you're also invincible. If you get cornered, don't be afraid to run. I'm gonna revive so that I can run over here and pick up the item. I am gonna try and fight him. I don't think I'll win, to be honest with you. He's one of those enemies that if you aren't fully prepared to fight, he will kill you. So, we'll be... So this is another one of those enemies that's... he's... oh, whoops. That works. I guess I'm not gonna fight him. So that's one way to get away from him, is you just jump down, I guess. So, yeah, we'll keep going. I won't worry about fighting him, because apparently I'm just not supposed to fight him. So you'll come up over this way, kill a couple guys, and from here, once again, you want to take out ranged people first. So there's a couple of your ranged guys. When you're running, it is very difficult to hit you, and so if you aren't ready to be killing people, be sure that you're running. So that's how you take care of those 3 archers. If you're standing still, they will kill you very easily. So in Sekiro, if you're not in combat, you're running. I'll show you how I got there real quick by going backward for a bit. And I'll actually rest at the bonfire so that you get the rest of the sculptor's idol, so that you get the full experience. So we're gonna rest, You can come up over this way. That way you don't fight them all 1v1. Grab a look to this tree. I think attack that guy. Take him out. Take out a couple of the archers. And then for skill points and send, go backwards a little bit more. And then we'll come up this way. There is an enemy there, and so if you want to try and fight them head on, that's where you'll go first. And then run. You're invincible during death blows, so use that to your advantage. Just like that. Make sure to get your loot. And then, remember how I said we don't want to fight the big boys fairly? Well, that's one of the big boys. And so, there's also two guys with shields. I'm going to show you how to fight them. I don't really recommend actually fighting them, though. So you'll actually come down this way first. Don't jump, or they will see you. Get your loaded axe ready. Attack that guy. Run behind him so you can get that sneaky death blow. And then be ready to take on the archer first, because we always take out ranged people first. And then for the dude with the shield, loaded axe. I've got no idea why I wasn't doing the death blow there, but that's okay. As you can see, I have a lot of Sen right now, and so this would be the time to use it to go buy different things. But I'm a cocky son of a gun, and so I'm not going to do it. But don't take unnecessary risks. You'll be talking to your Papa Bear. He gives you a key. Tells you to go this way along the cliffside, so that's what we'll do. Turn around from him, go up the tree, up onto this building. Grapple hooked to the cliffside. Pretty much just follow the grapple points to continue down this path. You can drop down this way, and from here, once again, there are a lot of enemies. You don't have to fight them, you can just run past them. But I feel like for a walkthrough, it's important to actually try and find enemies. That way, you know how to deal with them easily enough as well. Once again, have your loaded shuriken ready. Come over this way to take out an archer before he becomes a problem. For the shield guys, get your loaded axe ready. Let them rush you so that you can just break them apart. You'll also notice if you can get 2 hits off before the axe swinger can hit you, you can actually stop him from doing an attack against you. So that's your timing to watch out for. If you don't think you can get a second hit in quick enough, go to guard. So from that pavilion that we jumped onto, you come this way, take out the archer, and then into this cave. You'll notice how I once again fought them one at a time, because fighting them all together is a terrible, terrible idea. So then once you're in the cave, you'll come over here, and you'll have another one of those footstool thing, where you can jump across everything. Keep going all the way to the top. Come over this way for the sculpture's idol. If you're not going backwards, then I can line up the video properly. You'll also have 3 skill points by now, and so you'll use this rest to learn a couple skills. As I said, our next skill that we'll be learning is the grappling hook attack, so go ahead and take that. The next thing is you can either get Fang and Blade, which gives you a follow-up attack for the loaded axe. However, I'm going to have you do the Whirlwind Slash and the Run and Slide. Or, actually, no, I lied. Whirlwind Slash, Midair Deflection. That's much more important than the Run and Slide. And so pretty much what that lets you do is when you are in midair, you can now guard. And so those pesky arrow people that shoot you in the air, they can't do that anymore if you're paying attention. So, we just learned a combat art, so we're going to equip that. It's the Whirlwind Slash. The way to use Whirlwind Slash is you click L1 and R1 at the same time. You can change your direction. It's pretty cool that way, because that's good for fighting multiple enemies at once. We also have the follow-up attack to the Shuriken, which, to use that, R2, R1. So, now that we have a couple of those things ready, from the Sculptor's Idol, you'll come. So take out your archers first. Come up here. Oh, I messed up. And you're going to take out your archers first. That way you don't have to deal with them as much. Or, at this point, you don't have to worry about them anymore. You can come over this way. I will be fighting them, however, just for the sake of making sure that you know a little bit more of what you're doing. Very nice, I took out both archers at the same time. Normally, I don't get that lucky, so... Don't find multiple people at once. It's a terrible idea. So we'll use the grapple hook to our advantage to get away. Be separated from the group. But hit and run when you are fighting multiple people. Now this is also a good time to use the Whirlwind Slash, because as I said, it's really good against groups of people, and you'll also remember, as I said, that those axe people get staggered after 2 hits, which just so happens to be what the Whirlwind Slash does. So, as I said earlier, we'll want the Flame Vent, so you'll equip that. Okay, first thing to notice is right over there, there's a person. He is actually an ally. Don't try and attack him. But we're gonna not talk to him right now. If you can't see him, we'll get a little closer. He's right over here by this rock. Once you talk to him, he will charge into battle. Don't do that yet, because our tactic for fighting Juzo will be to kill all of the enemies first, because once again, you want to only have to worry about the mini-boss. So we'll take out all of his cronies, we'll get the sneaky death blow. When we get that sneaky death blow, then we'll run over here and talk to him. So that's the battle plan. I'll show you what I do to do that. Grapple hook up here. And then we got, so overall, what we have, Juzo the Drunkard, he's the big boy right by that door. He's got two people with shields right next to him. Those 3 people. That guy furthest on the right is an archer. But we're first going to go over to the left into that building. When you go to this building, take him out. These guys are really good to practice the Makiri counter on because they do thrust attacks. So now, when you come into this building, we're going to come over this way. And we're going to take out this guy with a shield first, which will also get the attention of Juzo. As a result, we will now be running. But we're going to run over here to this archer. And Juzo will be chasing you through this building, but that will slow him down, which will then give us the opportunity to take care of some of his cronies without him breathing down our necks. So, once again, we'll be focusing on running around rather than fighting them fairly. Always be watchful for Juzo. Don't let him sneak up on you. I've been playing this game way too much. That's how I knew that he was there, in case you were wondering. So now it's just this guy with a shield left. We'll come over here, break the shield, and kill him. Now the last guy left is Juzo, which means that we'll be running away so that we'll lose interest, and that will allow us to get the death blow on him. So once again, always be focused on running if you don't feel comfortable with fighting the people that you are dealing with right then. So now that it's just Juzo, you'll come around here, back into the building, and that is where he'll be standing. I'll wait for him to stand so that you know where he'll be ending. That's why you come through the building. And again, our strategy here, get the sneaky death blow, run over to that rock, and talk to your buddy that will now be joining you in this fight. Definitely go through that dialogue quick, because Juzo will a lot of times be right behind you. Don't let him poison you. So now with the flame vent, when you get 2 hits off with the fire, that is when he will gain the status effect of burn, and that will give you a couple of free extra hits right there. He has sweep attacks, so watch out for those. Make sure that he doesn't break your posture. And now that he's not burnt, you can burn him again. Just use a smart, unlike what I just did there. My buddy just died. However, we've almost got him, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. And so, with this main part of the fight, we'll be focused on guarding and deflecting. When he takes a drink, that's actually a perfect opportunity to get a couple free hits. What's awful about Juzo is how quickly he can break your posture. And so you'll watch out for those big attacks, which with those big attacks that he will do an overhead swing, that's when you can run behind him and get a free hit that way. But if you're not smart about it like that, you will die. So we'll use that last healing gourd. I actually have no idea how he hit me right there. But, again, that's your strategy. Kill everyone else. Get the sneaky death blow. Talk to your friend. And then kill him. If I didn't mess up with the flame vent, I actually probably would have been able to kill him without my friend dying. So, the flame vent does use 3 spirit emblems, so you do have limited use with that. So be careful there. These last couple enemies will be the end of part 2. So as you saw, you just walk in, and then when you come this way, the way forward will actually be through here, but we're going to take a slight detour, hug this wall, and you're going to get a couple of items. Open this chest, which is the real reason we are here, and get yourself a prayer bead. So now with the next video, it'll be Lady Butterfly. If you want to, go ahead and fight her without watching the video. That's actually why I'll be separating bosses versus these parts. And so if you want help with just a specific boss, you can go right on ahead and skip to that boss when I have all these videos out. Otherwise, these parts are just to help you get there in general. So we'll be resting at the Sculptor's Idol. Enhance your physical attributes, because you should have 4 by this time. And we will rest. And with that, that ends part 2. And I hope that helped. Happy hunting with Sekiro, and